Robert Nozick asked one question in 1974 that no one has been able to shake. If a machine could give you a perfect life, every joy you've ever craved, would you step inside and never come back? That question used to feel like a game, a fun puzzle for a classroom. It doesn't feel like a game now. Headsets are selling faster each year. BrainLink trials are underway in labs across the globe. Apps promise to tune your mood like a dial on a radio. The line between real life and built life is getting thinner. And Nozick's old thought test is no longer just a thought. It's a fork in the road we might face in our lifetime. So here's what we need to figure out. When people are offered pure bliss with no cost, why do most of them say no? What does that refusal tell us about what we truly want? And is there a point where the answer might flip? Let's start with the setup. The machine is simple. You float in a tank. Wires feed your brain a stream of tailor-made joy. You fall in love. You write a novel. You win every race. You feel the sun, the wind, the thrill of a crowd. From the inside, it is perfect. You never know you're hooked up. Your brain can't tell the gap between real and fake. Every cell in your body says this is life, and it lasts as long as you live. Now, the catch. None of it is real. You never wrote the novel. You never met the person. You never stood in the sun. Your body floats in salt water. Your mind runs on code. The world keeps going without you. But you feel great. Better than great. You feel perfect all the time with zero breaks. The clear case for plugging in seems strong. If the goal of life is to feel good, the machine wins. No loss. No grief. No dull Tuesday. Just peak after peak. A strict view that ranks lives by total pleasure would say you must step inside. Walking past the pod would be like turning down the best deal ever made. But when asked, most people refuse. About 3 out of 4 look at perfect bliss and choose messy, real life instead. That gap between what logic seems to demand and what our gut insists is the whole mystery. So what drives the refusal? The first thread is about touching the world, not just sensing it but shaping it. When you carve a chair by hand, you feel the grain resist. You adjust. You push. The chair exists because you made it exist. People who chose their own path through a task felt a much deeper sense of their own power than those whose steps were mapped out by a system. Same end result, same chair, but the inner glow was worlds apart. Inside the machine, every win is scripted. You score the goal, but the net was always going to catch the ball. You solve the puzzle, but the pieces were cut to fit your hand. There is no real pushback. And without pushback, the win feels thin, like clapping for yourself in an empty room. But here's where it gets tricky. The machine could be built to include pushback. It could script struggle, failure, sweat. You'd still feel like you earned it. So if the fake effort feels real, does the point still hold? This is the crack in the wall that strict bliss fans love to press on. And it leads us to a deeper layer. Not just what we feel, but what we remember. Your brain does not store a clean tape of your day. It grabs 2 things: the peak, the most intense flash, and the end, the last frame before the scene cuts. Most people chose a longer task with a rough middle but a smooth finish over a short task that felt nice the whole way. The bad parts in the middle barely mattered. What stuck was how it ended. Now think about the machine. It could give you the best peaks, the best endings, over and over. But here's the rub. A real peak earns its height from the valley before it. The relief after fear, the pride after doubt. When every peak is placed by design, the gaps between peaks carry no weight. Your scrapbook fills with gold leaf pages, but none of them have a crease. None of them have a coffee stain or a tear mark. And those flaws, strange as it sounds, are what make a scrapbook worth opening. There's data on this too. When people felt regret inside a fake setting, that sting faded far faster than regret from real events. Real regret lingers. It teaches. It reshapes choices. Fake regret melts like frost on glass, so the machine doesn't just swap the source of feeling. It changes the weight. Now let's pull the lens wider. One of the strongest reasons people refuse the pod is other people. Not the idea of other people. Real ones. The messy kind. The kind who show up late. The kind who say the wrong thing. The kind who hold your hand in a waiting room and mean it. Real bonds depend on a loop. I act. You react. I adjust. You adjust. Neither of us knows what comes next. That loop is where trust grows, where love gets tested, where a friend proves they chose to be there. Real meetups cut loneliness far more than virtual ones managed. The gap wasn't small. It was a canyon. The machine can build a perfect partner, but that partner will never choose you. Choice requires the option to walk away, and if the other person can't walk away, what you have isn't a bond. It's a mirror. But here's the wrinkle that makes the whole thing harder. Not all virtual spaces are hollow. Therapy done through guided scenes has helped real people face real fears. Soldiers with trauma, kids with phobias. The medium wasn't the problem. The problem is whether stakes exist, whether the person has something to lose. A virtual bridge that makes your palms sweat because you chose to step on it is closer to real than a luxury beach you were placed on without asking. So the line isn't digital versus physical. The line is chosen risk versus no risk at all. This brings us to risk itself. The machine's biggest selling point is also its fatal flaw. It removes all danger. And danger, in the right dose, is where meaning lives. A broad global survey found a strong link between moderate hardship and life fulfillment. People who faced some storms rated their lives higher than people who faced none. Not because pain is good, but because beating pain proves something. It proves you can. Think of a plant in wild soil. It bends in the wind. Its roots dig deep. It scars and grows back thicker. Now think of a greenhouse plant kept at perfect heat, perfect light, perfect water. It grows tall, but its stems snap at the first real breeze. The machine is the greenhouse. You bloom inside it, but you never learn to bend. So what happens if the greenhouse scales up? What if it's not one person in a pod, but half the world? This is where the thought test stops being about you and starts being about us. If huge numbers of adults opted in, growth would crumble. Marriage rates, workforce numbers, school rolls, all of them shrink when millions choose to float instead of showing up. The easy response is to say that would never happen. But look at the trend lines. Every year, the fake gets closer to the real. Every year, more people spend more hours in built worlds. The question isn't whether the machine will exist. The question is whether we'll spot it when it does. Because it might not look like a tank. It might look like a feed that knows you better than you know yourself. An app that smooths every rough edge. A world where you never have to face a thing you didn't choose. Now, there's a fair counterpunch we need to face. A thinker who ranks acts by total good might say we're being stubborn. If the machine makes more people feel more joy, then the math is clear. Plug in. They'd argue that clinging to our realness is just a bias, a habit dressed up as a value. And they'd push further. The machine could be built to fake struggle, fake bonds, fake stakes. If you can't tell the difference, does the difference matter? That's a strong case. And it forces a hard question. Is our love of real life based on reason or just on fear of the new? Here's one way to test it. Imagine you learn right now that your last 5 years were spent in the machine. Every win, every hug, every late night talk. All code. Would you shrug and say it felt great? Or would something in your chest collapse? Most people feel the collapse, and that collapse isn't about logic. It's about a kind of hunger. A need not just to feel things, but to be the person who lived them. Not a copy, not a script. The real, flawed, tired, stubborn version of you. This is the reframe that sits at the center of the whole puzzle. We don't just want to feel good. We want to be real. And a real one means breakable. It means uncertain. It means showing up to a life that might not work out and caring anyway. If this made you look at your own choices a bit different, there's a whole thread of ideas like this on the channel. Drop a comment and tell me, would you plug in? I mean it. I want to know where you stand. The machine hums. The pod glows. And you walk past it into a morning that owes you nothing.